morning, parliamentarians.
You're off mic.
One of these days I'll get I don't have many times left to do it without screwing up. Good morning and welcome to our meeting of June 13, 2018. Good, I went through all that stuff last week, so hectic. Vicki, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thought for the day, Jim Gilliam.
Here we go. Live your life each day as you would climb a mountain. Climb slowly, steadily, enjoying each passing moment, and the view from the summit will serve as a fitting climax for your journey.
Like a guy who's been to the top of many mountains, skiing and hiking. And I did that one last week and didn't update it. We are short one person for Mike. Who would like to volunteer?
There you
Mike, thank you, sir.
With the 18 months.
Joe.
Hi, Bill. So what's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Flag Day.
Flag Day.
Yeah, Randall.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. Should all acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag.
Say hello to your neighbors. Greet Thank you to today's greeters, Lori and Emily. And to our Mike team, Barbara and Debbie Klein, actually taking over for Barbara is Michael McLaughlin. President-elect Matt.
Yes.
Do we have any visiting?
We have Richard Zimmer from the Duke Club.
AKA Dick Zimmer.
Morning, Dick. Welcome. And guests.
Thank you, Debbie. My guest today is again Chris Brocade from the Twin River Alliance.
Good to have you here. So, our student has flown the coop. He is back in Italy. He didn't make it to his last meeting last week. He overslept. And so I'm going to go on Facebook and shame him. And no, he's so I'm going to ask him to do a video of being back home. Maybe do a walkthrough of his house or his school. Or, and remember his dad was here visiting. We was going to be their district up there in Italy. So we'll see how that works out. Say again?
How long did it stay?
He was here for 10 months, all year. Yeah. And here's a picture of Naya with both the Argentinian and Paraguayan flag. So.
Is she there?
No, he hasn't left yet.
Yes, she could make
Be a little while. When did she leave? August, okay. Okay, getting down close to the end, this is Bill's Beatles tie of the week. This is a happy one. I guess we got the volume high now, huh? I don't know if you saw there, but there's a couple of kids standing in the yard of Desmond and Molly Jones. John, are you ready? We have a special treat with John Belusis talking about the Indy 500 here, so hang on just a second. When the video
Very good. Good morning. As many of you were at the Jockey Club, or some of you were at the Jockey Club, and someone noticed that I was wearing jewelry there and asked about it, and Bill asked me to talk about it a little bit. I've been very fortunate in my lifetime. Maybe I can combine this as my career. Cool. Check. So, my background is that I have a clinical background. I'm not just a dumb old CEO of a struggling rural hospital in Northern California. Struggling, I might say, but on the cusp of being very, very successful. Because we've been able to overcome a lot of things, but you don't want to hear about that, even though that's what I really would like to talk about. Maybe another day. But I've been blessed as a respiratory therapist. I trained at Indiana University in Indianapolis at the medical center a long, long time ago, in the early 70s. And one of the things I got to do after I graduated was work at a children's hospital. Then I went to a small community hospital outside of Indianapolis on the north side. And my boss there in 1972 came back after Memorial Day really, really, really excited. And what had happened was he had been invited to work at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the medical staff. It seems that in those days, before they had paramedics, they utilized respiratory therapists for airway management on the track. They had Cadillac station wagons that usually were hearses. They put a red light on the top of them, and they had volunteers that worked around the track and in the aid station. And at that time, they had respiratory therapists that worked in. So I said, how do I get to do that? Because that sounds like a lot of fun. So the next year, he introduced me to people, and I got to go out in March and do an orientation. And I was driving a 1970 Volkswagen at the time. And to get into the infield of the track at that event, or that orientation, you had to drive across the track. They had a pass-through. And when I got on to the track, I made a right turn by accident. And I drove, the only way once you're on the track is to drive around the track and come back. And I did that, and there was a fellow in a white pickup truck whose name was Luther. Luther was the superintendent of the grounds of the Speedway. Luther was there to meet me, and Luther was not amused that my Volkswagen convertible had just clocked the fast time for a Volkswagen convertible at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm very fortunate that I got to continue that day, and this year marked 45 years of that continuance, which is pretty impressive. They stopped using respiratory therapists a number of years ago, but I evidently demonstrated some additional skills, and they kept inviting me back. So I've been very blessed with that. The Indianapolis Speedway and the 500-mile race have quite a history. What you see above me is the Harmon Wasp. It is the car that Ray Haroon drove in 1911 to win the first Indianapolis Motor Speedway race. That race took 6 hours and 42 minutes, and the average speed of that race was 74.59 miles per hour. So it was quite an event. A little bit about the Speedway itself. There's a 27-hole peak dye design golf course with 18 holes on the outside and 9 holes on the infield of the track. The Speedway itself is 2.5 miles around, and in 2000, to add to the events that are there, created a 2.65 mile road course that goes within the track and also uses the straightaways of the track. There are about 300 to 400,000 people that come to that event. It is the largest single-day event. And it's kind of exciting because if you think it's about 40 acres that it covers, good morning. And of that 40 acres, you have every type of medical event that you can imagine, from high-speed motor vehicle accidents to slow-speed golf cart accidents to, believe it or not, some drunk folks and heart attacks and everything in between. The track hospital, I'll show you. Let's find the clicker. I think I did something. The picture on this side, on the left, is not the current track hospital, but that's an example of what it used to be like before the Cadillac station wagons. That's a photo that I got and have in my home office. The cinder block building there is the emergency center at the Speedway where the drivers go, and it is essentially a trauma center. There's a trauma surgeon there. There are all of the specialties. There's x-ray there. Again, if you think about it, having over 300,000 people on the property, this start sometime, the gates open at 6 in the morning on race day, but there are folks that are there from way before 6 in the morning outside the track, beginning the festivities. You end up with lots and lots of different folks. We do have helicopter on site when the cars are on the track, a Lifeline helicopter that coordinates with Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis, which is a 1,000-bed trauma center. This is a look down the main straightaway from the top of the Pagoda Tower. With 45 years of time at the Speedway, it has some perks that you get in the form of credentials to get around the track and get to know people. They're divided into two types. There are pre-race activities and during the race activities. This is an example of the garage pass for the pre-race. You can see it's a blue band, but during the race, they minimize the people that are allowed in the pits. So this is a hot pass, as they call it, with a red lanyard and access to the pits in the garage. The main straightaway, this is on the left side, you're looking down the fourth turn to the end of the track, the north end of the track. On the right side, you're looking south, and there's the yard of bricks and the tower there, and that's the first turn. there are two others. Two other turns. So this year, I wasn't going to work at the race. I was going to be a spectator. I was officially going to retire. So I had seats that were between the third and the fourth turn. They were very good seats, as you can see. I was able to watch the third turn and the fourth turn, the cars coming in. It was 94 degrees. I lasted about 50 laps, and I said, oh no, this is not going to work. So I went back to the track hospital, and I knew where there was an office with a couch and a closed circuit TV and air conditioning. And I went in and sat down. Well, at 94 degrees at the speedway and humidity associated with that, all of a sudden, my friend who's the administrator of that fine facility got a call that they were swamped in the hospital and said they needed more help. And next thing I knew, I was working again. And that's usually pretty exciting, and I enjoy that, and it's great. There's a number of different events that happen there. There's obviously the IndyCar races for the 500, and they have added a road course race the 1st of May. There's NASCAR races. There's Red Bull Air races in October. They've had Formula One races. They've had MotoGP motorcycle races, which I've had the pleasure of working all of those different events over the years. But probably this year was one of the most exciting and anticipated times for me that I have ever had. Last year I discovered that they had begun doing, they do what's called the Indy Racing Experience, where you can pay to go around the track at several of the different venues at about 150 miles an hour. And they have a race car driver and a two-seater. But once a year, the day after the race, they have a special event which is called the Indy Racing Experience 200 Mile an Hour Club, where they have a fellow by the name of Mario Andretti, who, in the two-seater race car that you see on the left, takes you for a little ride around the track at 200 plus miles an hour. Mario sits in the front, obviously, and the guy in the back is me, in this case. There are 33 spots for this. You see me getting loaded into the suit with the helmet and the light. And then, if you will, the experience. I'd like to share it with you.
You scream?
Please?
Do you scream? You got a barf bag?
I do not have a barf bag. Initially, it was, yes.
It's called a helmet.
Okay, so this is the fan is because it's very hot again, and they're cooling Mario off as they're getting me in the car. That's taken off out of the pits. Coming into the short chute at the south end of the track, going into the second turn. Going along the back stretch. We're probably only going about 120, 130 miles an hour at this point, but hang on. This is the fourth turn. There's my seat. This is the fourth turn. That was the third turn. For those of you who are checking my counting ability, this is the main straightaway. This is the yard of bricks. You've gone around once. That's the warm-up lap. And we're off. And you notice that's a wall that we're up against there. I noticed it. There are some black skid marks on that wall where tires have met it. Three. This is the last one.
And how old is Mario?
Mario is 77 years old. No. It's a GoPro on the car.
Wow.
So that's the Borg Warner Trophy that the winner's likeness is affixed to. The winner actually gets a miniature version of that. It is quite an experience, needless to say. Just a couple of things. As I mentioned, there are three four-time winners: A.J. Foyt, Al Unser Jr., and Rick Mears. The first race, as I told you, had an average speed of 74.59 miles. The longest race, my first race in 1973, Gordon Johncock won. It started on May 28th and ended on May 30th because of the rains. I started in a first aid station on the outside of the track, and by the time they actually ran the race, ran out of people to work, I ended up on a track ambulance inside the track on the racetrack surface, and the average speed of that race was 159.036 miles per hour. This year, Will Power won the race. The race time compared to Ray Haroon's race in 1911, instead of 6 hours and 42 minutes, this race only took 2 hours and 59 minutes, and the average speed was 166.935 miles. So I guess my average speed was higher than that, but I went for a much shorter ride than he did. So I would also show off that in addition to the jewelry, I got this lovely certificate suitable for framing, that I'm a member of an elite group of, at this point, 99 people, because they do 33 a year. People who have gone in excess of 200 miles an hour riding on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And by the way, my fast lap in the Volkswagen didn't come close.
I also did a lap at Indy. Mine was in a rental car.
In a rental car?
97, just before I came back home. And we were there visiting an equipment supplier, and we flew out of Indianapolis. So, and this was the first year in like 30 years that they had done a community event. And there were cars lined up for like 3 miles to be able to get onto the speedway. But we got on it, and it was controlled speed all the way around. But we drove around halfway. I was with another guy, and so we drove around halfway, stopped, changed, so that he could. So we each got to drive on the track.
They still do that, though.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why do they always go in the same direction? That's by design.
Because it's a lot less exciting than when they're going in opposite directions at 200 miles an hour.
I think the
That's a closing speed of 400 miles an hour.
I think that what you're asking is, why don't they vary it? They do for the road course, and like so many things in Indianapolis, it's tradition. So they do that because we've always done it in that direction. But there are some of the races, the road course race, for example, goes counter Indy race. So those of us who worked the Indy for many, many years have to think, all right, turn around, look the other way, because the cars are coming after from that way.
So June 13th, this day in history, this was the day when the Miranda decision was handed down by the Supreme Court. And from that time forward, every arrest by every police officer, they carry this little card with them that has the Miranda warnings on it that says you have the right to remain silent, you know, the whole thing. So this was a monumental change in the criminal justice system and the police system that occurred in this state in 1966. Also, on June 13th, 1967, this was the day that Lyndon Baines Johnson appointed Thurgood Marshall. He was the first African-American Chief Justice, or Justice on the Supreme Court. He was associate, not Chief Justice. And finally, June 13th, 1971 was the day that the New York Times began running the Pentagon papers. Daniel Ellsberg was arrested and charged with conspiracy, theft of government property, and espionage. He was acquitted of all charges. Actually, they were dropped. And the government also sued the New York Times, and that went to the Supreme Court very quickly. Didn't go through the typical long waiting period, and that was thrown out as well. It was a very interesting day in history. Carolyn Isola was born on this day, and she was very, very well-known mathematician. Taught for 50 years in high mathematics. When she went to get her master's, they didn't allow women into the mathematics programs because women really weren't capable of that. She broke the door down. This was also the birthday of Paavo Nurmi. He was the best medium distance runner of all time. At one time, he had more records. He still owns more records for a longer period of time. At one time, he had the record for the 1,500, the 5,000, and the 10,000 meter all at the same time, and held that for like 20 years. Just an amazing runner. So, Rotarian birthdays next week. So that's actually next Wednesday, so we'll give you a second shot next week, but tell us.
You were sneaking around my back porch?
Yeah. I sneak around Facebook.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think I've already started celebrating. I'm feeling good. And anyone needs a blessing, come on up.
All right. So next week we'll sing to you. Anniversaries. Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Bill.
That's Saint Maxine.
Saint Patrick's.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
This will be 46 years. It was actually 50 years on Memorial Day weekend when we met and first became interested in each other. But after we started dating, I took a year off and went to Vietnam. So we didn't get married until after I came back and had gone to school. She is a saint. This is a sad day for us. Vicki Johnson will be retiring both from Umpqua and from Rotary. Vicki,
No!
who's
Rejected!
gonna run our auction?
yes, it's a good day because I am going to retire from Umpqua Bank. I've been in the financial industry for more than 18 years. And as you guys know, you can see all my Facebook pictures. My kids continue to have babies in 4 different states. So it's pretty hard to get around and see them grow up and, you know. Okay, I'm up. Goodbye.
And these are a few of the reasons why she's going to be spending more time with her other friends instead of with us. So, Inspiring Hope, save the date, June 9th. This was last weekend. What a day we had. All you can hear is hammers. Is that root back in the middle? Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Here's an aerial shot showing the layout at Pioneer High School. It virtually took up that entire parking lot. And Michael, how many total folks were there?
About 700.
700 people. There were 2 Rotary clubs, ours and Santa Rosa East. Most of them were faith-based groups. The guy who organized the whole thing is a faith-based organization, Hope City. There's Michael getting ready to direct the crew. And this is how it starts out. You end up with just a big pallet. The base is actually what you start to build it on, and then the 4 side panels are there, and all of the rafters for the roof, and you put that on, then you put on the roof decking, and the...
Easier than a greenhouse?
Easier than a greenhouse. Went up much faster. And to show you how hard we worked, how much we sacrificed, look at Patrick's blood! Oh. He bleeds for this community. Patrick, tell us about it.
Clumsy.
How'd you injure yourself?
Well, I think Wayne took those shots. I didn't know what he was up to. We're trying to hang a door in there, and he said, "Don't move." And then he gets really close into my arm, and I realize that I'm bleeding. It's just thin skin, folks. It's nothing more than that. And it was a fabulous opportunity to be amongst all of that activity. It's like that Harrison Ford movie where they do that barn raising with the Amish. It felt so good to be there doing this thing. And amazingly, once you're done with that, a forklift comes over, takes your building, puts it on the flatbed, and takes it right to the client.
Nice.
Yeah.
And again, as a reminder, these sheds were built for the folks who lost homes in the fire, and they're going to go out and try and rebuild. They got nothing. It does 2 things. The speaker that was talking to us said, for one thing, it's a huge psychological boost that they have something in place out of the barren rubble that was there. If you've been through Coffee Park or some of the other places that got burned, it is devastating. It's just heartbreaking. But they come there and they've at least got a building there. And it's a place for them to be able to store their tools and their materials as they start their rebuild process. Here's Wayne putting on the final touches of the trim, and inside I signed it for the group, the Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise. I wanted folks to know that we did that for them. And we had Steve Barney and Michael and Matt, and then up on the roof, Wayne and me and Matt again. And oh, there we go. As they finished, I mean, literally, as they finished, the forklift would come out, pick them up, load them on a flatbed, and they would head off. Wow. It was a great day. How many did they make? We did 100 and we were number 100. Yeah, so that was very cool. We had a great time. We had a little, yeah, anyway. So Crush Movie Night coming up, June 21st, July 5th, July 19th, August 3rd, and August 15th. I went on the sign-up site, and right now, most of the positions are already taken up.
Don't say that, it's only 60%.
So we're at 60% sign up, and it's the 21st, July 5th, July 19th, August 2nd, and August 16th. Walk the Line, Almost Famous, Coal Miner's Daughter, Cadillac Records, and Blues Brothers.
Oh, music.
Those are the
related
movies that you'll get to see while you either pour beer or wine or collect money. And only one of the days is filled up, August 16th, but there's like a spot or two left on each other day. We'll send the sign up out again today, okay, so that you don't have to look for our email.
I think all of the wine pouring spots are.
Doesn't matter, I'm
And then there's
willing to give up my
some beer.
spot, you know, that I signed up if somebody wants to pour it and collect money. We'll all trade around whatever you guys want to do. But anyway, just sign up and like I said, we'll send it out again. We're getting all this stuff for free and then all the money we collect will go directly to the club, so we have zero overhead.
It's a great deal. Easy, it takes 6 of us per night, and it's pure profit for us. It's a windfall. It's a great deal for us.
Going to the rival.
Recognition fines, I'm on time here, but we'll bring this up again next week. Every week, the president-elect, or the president gets a sheet that tells what your fines are and who's paid. You know, some of you paid your full dues up front, so you have no fines throughout the whole year. Others pay partial dues, and then you have it allocated between $40 for recognition and $15 for anniversaries and birthdays. Well, your president is not really good at always looking, and sometimes I charge people.
Yeah, good. I remember getting to the end of my year. You did great.
Is that just the first
Oh,
page?
yeah, but this is all the people that, but what you don't see, there's a whole bunch of people that I've overcharged.
Oh, we're so excited about
So,
Class action, overcharged. Who's the last action?
I will be sending
I'm hiring
out a
back.
letter, and you will have the option of either, Barbara's gonna hate me for this, either taking that money and applying it towards next year's dues. Or applying it to your ball.
Leave it alone.
Announcements. Oh, you already did your announcement. Oh.
I'll mention this from time to time. So Andrea went back to Italy yesterday. He's there now. I'm sure his family welcomed him. But we are about to have a blessed event. A 16-year-old young woman who is coming here. Her name is, well, we would read it as Madeline. But it's Madeleine, something like that, is coming from the Netherlands. Spoken to her on Facebook and that sort of thing. She seems like a really great person. And of course, as always, we're looking for host families. So if your household is one that would welcome somebody, would get her, make sure she gets to school every day and home. That would be just awesome. Or if you know somebody that you think might be a good candidate, mention it to them, ask if they're interested, and then ask if it's okay if I get in touch with them, and I'll take it from there. So anybody has ideas along that line, that would be wonderful, and let's figure that out because August is right around the corner.
Matt.
Matt.
What?
Introduce you.
Michael, when is, this Sunday we're having the barbecue, the joint club barbecue. Can you say a little class on that?
Yeah, it's the Ryla Barbecue Rotary Youth Leadership Award. It's on the 17th, this Sunday at Westminster Woods. We traditionally, along with the Noon Club, have always done the first night, and we barbecue chicken for them. So we need about 4 people to show up. about 3 or 3:30 would be great, and that's it.
Send me an email if you want to come.
Or did you?
And if you
were
don't send me an
volunteering?
email, I'll send you an email.
Were you volunteering or?
Yeah, great.
The other thing is, so the first Saturday of July, I'm going to have a pool party and barbecue. It won't be the first Friday, it'll be the first Saturday. And I hope it's okay that I announce this. And as many of you, I expect all of you to show up, as long as you don't fall in the pool, because I'm going to get there first.
Are you making martinis?
Martinis.
I'll be there.
Chips and dip.
Chips and dip, so forth and so on. What does that stuff make with tequila?
Hangovers.
Hangovers.
What time now?
Let's say noon.
So that's a seven, right? Hot luck yet? Bring a dish?
Yeah, and we'll do the barbecue thing. Maybe I can get Michael to come and do.
No, we don't have enough time to, so I would
Just keep going.
Keep going.
So our speaker this week put it off a week, so we were going to do Trivial Pursuit, but we were having so much fun in Indianapolis that we ran out of time. One other announcement. Notice the flowers here. Natalie came up to me this morning and gave me this set of flowers. Remember, it's her first year in Rotary, and she told me that I'm the best Rotary president that she's ever served. Unfortunately, it also means I'm probably the worst. She's got but I will take it. Thank you.
In the back of my mind, I'm like, what's all the razzing about? You know, he's a volunteer, he does a great job, he's always dressed the part. And it's tough being a leader. So I really want to thank you personally. I thought this was your last one, because I heard two, but thank you. I mean, it's an effort you put into it. I've learned a lot during the course of your, I love your choices on dating history, and it's been really educational, and your heart's into it too. So
You learned a lot about Beatles ties.
yeah, the Beatles ties and all that. So the flowers we're putting up are just wild bunch of flowers I call Rotary Sun.
Well, thank you very much. Well, since we have time, let's get defining them. So, everyone knows if you don't pay in full, you owe a total of 40 for recognition and then 15 for birthday and anniversary. And as I said, there are times when I recognize somebody's birthday and forget to impose the fine, because I remember recognizing birthday and anniversary, didn't I? Yeah, but I just didn't charge it. So, we need to catch up.
No, I'm going to graduate next week.
Okay. Bruce Campbell, I undercharged him by $20 and
Double the fine.
didn't recognize him for his birthday and anniversary. I'd probably find Helene that day because, anyway. Jim, good enough? I got him for his regular recognition, but not for his birthday and stuff. So he's 15. Julie Kidd, who has been on leave of absence. What's that?
Robber owes money.
Yeah.
$20.
But see, I can't find myself, so I can't fault myself for not finding me. And the only one that can find me
We can fix that.
is Michael.
You're fine
What for?
for being such a great president.
You're fine for not finding people.
Okay, that's fair enough. Al Lustig, where's Al? 25? $35.
Staying under the radar.
Ryan McCauley, did I not find you all year?
No.
Find the Padre. He went on a trip.
All the great stuff that you've done, all the great ammunition you give me, and I talk about you and I don't find you.
I just pass it.
What's up with that? So Pastor Ron wants to pass the plate. Anybody got a hat? Pass the plate for Pastor Rod. Gail Thomas.
Before we draw
draw the ticket.
How could I not have find you?
For doing such a great job on our live auction items and getting us to raise a huge amount of money. We raised so much money, now we can afford to charge Gail $40. Thank you, and 15 for your birthday and anniversary. Thank you.
Whoa.
Marty.
Marty!
I'm sure you charged me for my birthday.
Well, if I did, it was applied towards your regular recognition, so, you only owe 10 on recognition and another 15 for your birthday and anniversary. And,
Yeah, I know, $25.
Nancy.
She skipped out early.
That's why I didn't get enough on Nancy, she always leaves her. So, when Nancy gets back next week, so, Brian, if I'm gonna find you, would you like the mic?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, my daughter graduated from Berkeley.
That's $20 right there.
Then this coming weekend, the little guy, Casey, will be graduating UCLA. So
We're good to go there?
I'll send some pictures for next week.
Still walking?
They coming home.
They
He's
moving
walking,
home?
running. He's there, he's 6 feet tall.
Is that the one that got lost in the parade?
Yes. So one year he did the parade, and we do guys can cook, and he has an outfit and a hat and everything, and apron. Super cute, he's this tall back then, and you all dispersed at the very end, so that you go up, right, left, and nobody told him where to go. And so he got really mad, and he just kept walking, and walking, and walking. He walked all the way past 116 on the Cooper Road, Cooper Lane, all the way out there. And we were panicking, so we had the whole entire parade, people looking for him, fire, police, everything. And finally he shows up, we get a call, and he's being driven back in a police car, and he says, nobody told me where to go. So, I mean, sort of a grown-up version of all this, or what it led to is, that's kind of a victim attitude. So nobody told me, so I was gonna suffer because of it. So he's taken on to be like a mentor, even though he's the youngest kid, mentor to other kids and other people to not be a victim, own up to whatever's going on, and he's really impressive out there. He's graduated economics and statistics, and he's on his way.
Wow.
He moved, he got a job down in LA, probably never seen him again. It's management consulting in film and music industry.
Great.
Not stopping
Congratulations,
that.
very young person. Yeah. Congratulations.
Pass it off to Al. You're gonna be fine too, so I'm gonna give you the mic.
Oh, I don't have much to say for instance, for once. I'll pay. Al
was our guide during the building process. And we did all the easy stuff, just beating on nails and putting up trim and stuff. And we obviously had Al there to help us set the door, because that had to be critical. And there are other places where the doors were doing all poorly. Ours was perfect. Why? Because of that man.
Because the secret to hanging doors is not to use a level. Hang so they work.
Yeah. So, how about Rob?
Cost me more.
Well, you got a lot to pay, so.
I got a lot to pay. I got a lot to say. Actually, what you experienced with Al, I need to replace a rotting deck in the back of the house, so I've hired Al as a consultant. And the deal is, and you all pay attention, the deal is he can't lift a hammer or a crowbar or pick up a nail or a board. That's what I do. I'm the burro, but he's guiding me on this. So it's wonderful.
So you'll be done in no time at all.
You're having a learning lesson.
That was cute.
Yes, and I will make fewer mistakes.
Good idea. Well done.
So,
I'll get you a check next week.
okay. Marty, you have
Okay,
anything else?
I will make an early announcement for your calendar.
Yes.
My Christmas party is December 16th. Put it on your calendar, you're all invited. Sunday, December 16th. Terry's got plans, but he'll be there to drink wine.
And do you think we'll have any chips and dip?
16.
What's that?
Do you think we'll have any chips and dip there?
We will have chips and dip and whatever else we have.
Did you ever find the hat? Did you ever get your hat chip and dip?
Yes, apparently I took it down to my brother's for an event of some kind. And it's been at his house. Finally, he brought it back to me at some point this year. I do have it.
Yay.
And I will have it out for Christmas for you.
So, the sombrero hat returns. All right. So, who would like to do the drawing today, since we don't... Terry,
Yo,
since you were going to do Trivial Pursuit.
Or let John.
what am I doing now?
Oh,
yeah.
Leighton will do it. Leighton will do it. Nice try, Leighton. You're not going anywhere.
And the prize is nice set of...
I want it.
And that's from Al.
Garden.
Thank you, Al.
Hey, we got the winner.
Perfect time of year to be getting that stuff. Everything's growing like weeds, attacking you.
7:05.
Oh,
I think I got
I thought that was
the
the
number
number.
that I had. I traded up.
Last three?
Last four, yeah.
Last four, 8706.
Oh, I'm one off. It's got to be over here.
There it is.
It pays to be gone for 3
I
weeks.
tell you. And Marty crippled this up. Marty actually bought
That
this.
was my ticket.
Well, we shake them up and pass them around.
And we are looking for the ace of spades.
What kind of money? Rich get richer.
Oh, lots of money. We got fistfuls of money.
Yeah, I'll take the door prize.
Oh,
You don't get the money. You gotta pick the card to get the money.
oh, so close.
So
Like 2 hearts or something.
Yeah, was it last week or week?
Queen Dot.
When we were at the Turf
A
Club?
lot of kid awards.
A couple of weeks ago? Yeah. One of the things that we had there, we didn't have a person there representing it, but he had free admission tickets to the Turf Club. They're worth $6 each. I didn't realize it. Larry was telling me, what a racket this is. You go in there to gamble, they charge you to get in the door before they start taking your money for gambling. What's with that? Anyway, we should do that. So, anybody that wants a ticket to the Jockey Club, to the Turf Club, come on up here. They're all sitting right out here.
That's for the summer run.
Anywhere you wanna go?
Anytime of year. Because they have pari-mutuel betting there where you can go in anytime.
Oh, yeah, with all the stuff.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff like that. Uh-oh, I didn't change the...
What are the flowers for? Where were you?
The pretty. You gotta wake up.
That's our, they represent the wild bunch of flowers.
Joke of the day is Nick Randall.
So many of you know that I just got back from a road trip. First, and I drove across the western U.S. And we never make reservations when we go. We just drive until we're tired and we stop. Oftentimes, this is at an Indian casino, and they're all over the West now. Good food, reasonable price for rooms, and it's a great place. So last Friday night, we were in Riverton, Wyoming. And there's a Wind River Casino. And so we pulled in, and I went in to ask if they had any rooms. And the desk clerk was a middle-aged Indian man. And He said, yeah, and so he said, well, okay, we'll take a room. And as he was dealing with his computer to find the room, he said, I said, do you have a sports bar and where my wife and I can watch the Warriors game tonight, Friday night? And he's looking down at the computer and he's got his finger at it and he looks up at me and says, well, this is a dry reservation. And I looked at him and said, but I didn't have any reservation. And he looked at me and said,
Reservation?
nobody gets it.
Didn't I tell you this yesterday?
We can laugh, sir.
What was the other one?
Never mind.
You needed it back.
What was his backup?
Michael wanted me to tell this one, all right? So it was, got this on the internet, so you probably have all heard it, but Justified, after winning the Triple Crown, made the announcement that he was not going to go to the White House to be congratulated by the president. And in the interview, he said that, hey, if I'd wanted to see a horse's ass, I would have finished second.
Well, Joe, with that, let's...